Well, there's nothing that goes better with football than beer, and we're excited to have Golden Road Brewing as one of our newest sponsors for the show. Founded in 2011, Golden Road is Los Angeles' largest craft brewery with brew pub locations across California.
Golden Road is excited to celebrate the Kansas City Chiefs with its partnership beer, Kingdom Blonde Ale. Kingdom Blonde is available at local retailers and in the Chiefs Stadium during regular seasons.
Golden Road's year-round offerings include Mango Cart Wheat Ale, Wolf Pup IPA, and Fruit Cart Hard Seltzer. Golden Road brewers are constantly experimenting with the freshest ingredients to keep fans' taste buds happy with a collection of rotating seasonals, creative flavors, and classic craft brews.
Pick up a case of Golden Road beer at your local store to enjoy before the next game. Visit goldenroad.la/beerfinder to buy Golden Road beer now.
This is your Olympic hero and former WWE champion, Kurt Angle. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my guys, Clint and Noah. When it comes to covering sports, there is no one better. And believe me, that's true. It's damn true.
Gentlemen, you are the top 1%.
The elite. Best of the best.
You are now listening to the Elite Sports Podcast, brought to you by Vermeil Wines and powered by GASN Sports, the pinnacle of hard-hitting sports talk, featuring weekly expert analysis and top-notch interviews. And now, please welcome your hosts, Noah Groniger and Clint Schweitzer.
Well, it's the season of victory here on the Elite Sports Podcast. Yes, powered by the Great American Sports Network. GASNsports.com is the website. Again, you can get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, or Spotify. Tell your friends, let people know that the Elite is, in fact, living up to its billing, as this week we're going to be joined by none other than former NFL great running back Stephen Davis, drafted by the Washington Redskins back in 1996. He winds up going on to play in Super Bowl 38 with the Carolina Panthers and that cast of characters. Think about Jake Delhomme, Julius Peppers on that defense. We talked about our friend Brinston Buckner, our Mike Rucker, who's been on this show. Deshaun Foster was a running back that sort of was the backup at that time. Mushin Muhammad and Steve Smith at receiver. We're going to be talking about the playoffs coming up, his time with the Redskins, get some of his thoughts on, maybe the Auburn Tigers, on Bo Nix. We got a lot to get into. Stephen Davis, man, I think an underrated career. He finished with 8,052 yards, a top 50 running back of all time. In my opinion, I really think Stephen Davis is overlooked, maybe because he didn't have a lot of playoff success. He was on some, very, underperforming Washington football teams and got to that one Super Bowl with the Panthers, didn't win it. But we're going to be talking to Stephen Davis and very exciting about that. Noah, we also got the national championship, Alabama 52, Ohio State 24. Alabama 6 titles under Nick Saban. We've met the man. We've spoke with the man. You know what? It seemed to me like this one was maybe extra gratifying for him. He said, I love this team. He showed some emotion. Someone even caught him crying after the game. Was this more of a case of he really enjoys being around this team, or is it they beat COVID and this is sort of a victory for all of us to share?
Yeah, I think it's about him beating COVID, the whole team, college football, making it through the season, being able to crown a national champion that is the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think it's also about number 7. That's the most in college football, beating Bear Bryant's number of 6. He stands alone atop the mountaintop, and he's the best coach in college football history. It's signed, sealed, and delivered here. It's Nick Saban. So I think he's got emotion over that, being the best in the business. And every single recruit that he's had that has stayed at least 3 years has a national championship. That's insane. That is just unheard of.
Is this good for college football, though? Is this good for college football? It's because the answer is it's not. And that's not that I respect Alabama any less or think that they should be doing something different to not allow themselves to win every other national title for the last 2 decades. But at the same time, is it the college football playoff? We've talked to Tim Brando about this on numerous occasions, that it's turned college football, he says, into a colossal bore. But what do we do to fix it? Is it the transfer portal? Do we need to do something with that? Do we need to have some sort of 5-star recruit limit? That sounds like socialism to me. Not up for that. I don't know what you do, but the college football playoff, we know it's Clemson and Ohio State and Alabama every year. Insert whatever 4th team you want, Notre Dame or Oklahoma, to get their brains beat in the semifinal, whatever year you want to do it. What do we do? Is this what college football is? And are we okay with that?
I think I'm not okay with it. Alabama being good is good for college football. Alabama being this good and this dominant over this long is not good for college football. Mm-hmm. You talked about the 5-star recruit limits. That might work, but like you said, it sounds like socialism. We're not really up for that, but I think that's something that could work. I think it's just going to take Nick Saban leaving and mediocre to bad coach, not being able to get all the recruits, and slowly the program deteriorating slightly over time to get back to some sense of parity or normalcy here in college football to where any team can win. But you can expand the playoff all you want, whether it's 6 teams, 8 teams, 16 teams, for crying out loud. It's still going to be Alabama standing at the top at the end, or a team like Clemson or Ohio State, the Coastal Carolinas, the BYUs, the Cincinnatis. They just don't really have much of a chance. Oklahoma, maybe once in a blue moon, can find their way through. Notre Dame, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to absolutely find their way through and win a national championship. I just think this is where we're at. And yeah, I don't really like it because it's Alabama, it's Clemson. Maybe you have an LSU pop through, but there's not a ton of parity. There's not a ton of teams that can go into a season and say we have a realistic shot at winning national championship, because all the teams that are getting all the 5-star, the most talent, are the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the LSUs, the Alabamas, and that's it.
We haven't seen an offense this good since 2019 LSU. People are going to be comparing those teams, and that maybe isn't good for college football. The fact that you've had 2 record-setting offenses in consecutive years, both from the SEC, and what do you do about that? Is that what college football is also turning into? Arena football? I know that this game is offensive-minded in 2021, but man, at some point, you got to wonder if the game is going to be cyclical. It's going to go back a little bit. I mean, we're a decade removed from LSU and Alabama playing a 9-6 game in 2011, my friend. But
well, yeah, I've got kind of 2 things on that real quick. As far as like Nick Saban was a defensive guy, still is, but he kind of turned over a new leaf and saw where the game was going and brought in the likes of a Lane Kiffin, a Steve Sarkisian to build up that offense and turn it into this high-flying kind of air raid style, although they do have Najee Harris, just a high-flying scoring offense, getting all these top-flight receivers in here, quarterbacks. They had the Brody Croyles and Greg McElroys and A.J. McCarrons of the world. Now they're getting the top-flight quarterbacks because he knows he needs that to compete with the Joe Burrows and Trevor Lawrences and Justin Fields of the world. He's completely turned over a new leaf, and for an older coach, that's something that you got to tip your cap to, and like, hey, he saw where the game was going. He wasn't stuck in his mold of being a defensive mind and no, I'm going to beat teams 9-6 like they did years ago in that LSU game, like you talked about. And they did that. But my question thrown back to you is, who would have won that game between last year's LSU team and this year's Alabama team? Who would you have in that game? Man,
I don't know. I look back at it, and I think that I give the slight edge to 2019 LSU only because I mean, you look at, Joe Burrow and what he did, winning the Heisman Trophy, setting every SEC record. I mean, that LSU team, and they were battle tested. They set the record. They beat 7 teams, I believe, that wound up in the top 25 that year. That's unbelievable. That's unprecedented. That's never been done. I think they were just a little more battle tested. And the system that was in place, you think about Joe Brady and the passing game coordinator for LSU, the weapons they had, guys like Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that LSU team, by the slightest of margins, and we're splitting hairs here because what I saw from this Alabama team, which by the way started the season with a 38-19 win over Missouri. So Missouri has that going for them. They could take that into next season, that they only allowed 38 points against Alabama, and they had Jalen Waddle too.
Yeah, and going to that 2019 LSU team, I just think the bet you're making, both offenses are explosive, dynamic, 2 of the best that we've ever seen in college football. I would just bet on LSU's defense to get a stop before Alabama's. So that's where I call it. I think LSU could have forced at least 1 punt. I don't think Alabama's defense could have forced any punts. I think their LSU is scoring every time. So that's where I give the nod to Joe Burrow, Joe Brady, and LSU in 2019.
Yeah, I do think, though, that if any year there was going to be a time where the national champion, I didn't really care or have a rooting interest in who it was, it is this year, because to me, getting through the season, getting to the point where we were there in Miami playing for a national title, we got 95% of the games in the SEC were played. That is the victory that all of us college football fans need to share in, Noah. We've been on the road. We've been to these stadiums. We know what these places and these schools and these stadiums and the tailgating, what it all means to these fans. And we were told we can't do it. Sports media, and I'm calling out some of our colleagues. I'll call them out right now. Pat Forty, someone that is in our film, someone that we know, said you can't do this. And if you can't do it, it's Donald Trump's fault. And you know what? It's a load of crap that sports media tried to tell us we're stupid. You guys are dumb. We can't do this. Trust the science. Well, there was no science. The professor from the University of Illinois said, I guarantee you a player will die of this. Sheldon Jacobson, the doctor, the professor from the University of Illinois, said someone's going to die. Well, guess what? No one died. And where's the accountability for that crap? You get to spew off and say anything you want about COVID. This was unprecedented, Noah. We didn't know what was going to happen. But what we did know is the SEC and the leadership from this conference, and we're so proud to be affiliated with it, they stood back and they said, you know what? These kids aren't affected by this virus by and large. We believe in what we're doing. We believe in the protocols that we have in place. And they played a season, and people got to enjoy it, and they got to have something. No, we didn't have 75,000 people set up camp in the Grove like we've seen on a glorious Saturday afternoon. We didn't have Aggie land full top to bottom at Kyle Field. We didn't have it like that. It wasn't exactly normal. It wasn't what we dreamt of as kids, but we had a season. And for that reason, Noah, all of us hold that championship high above our heads. I truly believe that. And some people like Pat Forty, you don't get to hold that high above your head. In fact, he should have turned it in his credentials, should not have been in Miami where the game was taking place.
Yeah, and you saw Major League Baseball before college football got underway do it really successfully. I mean, we saw the NBA do it, but they were in a bubble. Major League Baseball didn't do it in a bubble, and the Marlins had a little outbreak. They weren't following protocols. But other than that, they did it really successfully. And so there was no reason to start canceling college football seasons in the Big Ten and the Pac-12, saying, we're not doing this, we can't do this, people are going to die, and create this hysteria. Thank God for the ACC, Big 12, and SEC coming in and saying, no, we're playing football with or without you. You guys are just creating this mass hysteria over this and not going to play a football season. That's fine. You can ruin some of these players' futures. You can ruin their season going for a national championship. We're going to figure this out. It's going to be tough, but we're going to get it done. We're going to get the games played, and we're going to crown a national champion, and that's what they did.
You're so right. I completely agree with you there, and I'm very grateful for the fact that they were able to do that. Guys, we have so much still to come here on the Elite Sports Podcast, but we want to take this time to tell you about our new sponsor, 500 Level. 500 Level is the ultimate sports apparel and fan gear store, and they feature ultra-comfortable custom t-shirts for NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and even WWE. I just got a Macho Man Randy Savage shirt from 500 Level that has been a conversation starter everywhere I go. 500 Level was created because they decided it was time to create an apparel company that put the fans right in the mix, instead of having to outfit themselves with the same old gear from major corporations. 500level.com works with exceptionally talented artists, designers, and diehard sports fans to create unique t-shirt designs for fans to wear with pride. I mean, here in Kansas City, it's time to defend that Lombardi trophy. So stock up in 500 Level's unbelievable inventory of never-before-seen designs for players like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, or even rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You literally can't find that anywhere else. Use promo code KansasCity20 today for 20% off your order at 500level.com. That's promo code KansasCity20 for 20% off only at 500level.com. Okay, moving on, Noah, before we get to our NFL divisional playoff round talk, we got to bring in our guest this week, which is none other than former NFL great Stephen Davis. You remember him playing for the Washington football team, the Carolina Panthers. He retired a St. Louis Ram. He's got a great story, and I'll tell you what, let's bring him on right now because, my man, Stephen Davis, you've got a new coach there at Auburn. You're an Auburn guy, wore number 48, two-time All-SEC at the University of Auburn. They got a new coach in Brian Harsin. You're going to meet with him soon. You're going to talk about the future, and right now, that future could lie on the arm of Bo Nix. Talk about him, talk about his progression, and what do you see going forward?
He got a good arm, got good football knowledge and everything. Just, I think with the new coaching staff coming in, they will help him with that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go with Auburn going forward, trying to try to, keep pace with that Alabama program. But we got to talk about your pro career, because you're a 3-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro in 1999. You really started off your career as a fullback. Let's talk about how tough those first few years were in Washington before you really got your chance to be the feature back there. How difficult was the transition, and did you always see yourself kind of as a feature back?
Well, the thing is, man, when I was coming out of college, I was injured. I had hurt my knee in the Senior Bowl, and that made me fall down the ladder a little bit before I was going to the 4th round. And then when I got drafted to a team that already had a great running back in Terry Allen and Brian Mitchell that was coming in on 3rd down, and Mark Logan. Those guys was the guys that I looked at my first 2-3 years there and learned a lot from. And just looking at those guys and learning how to work in the NFL, learning how to conduct myself as far as off the field and on the field and everything. Just looking at those guys taught me a whole lot. And then playing fullback, it was by accident. I was running fullback scout team during the week and had a great week of practice. And our fullback got hurt in the game, and I know the plays. So they threw me in there, and I played fullback in '98. It was my first year playing fullback, and played the whole year at fullback and had a good year, pretty good year, caught a couple touchdowns, and did whatever I had to do to get on the field to help the team win. And then come '99, I asked Coach Norton Turner, just give me a chance to be the starting running back, and he gave me that chance. I had to battle against Skip Hicks from out of UCLA. I had to battle him, and just having that opportunity and taking advantage of the opportunity that I was given by North Turner was the greatest feeling of all. And going out and having the season that I had, North gave me a chance. I made the best of it.
Yeah, you absolutely did. And us being here in Kansas City, Stephen, I got to ask you about 2001 with the Washington football team. Marty Schottenheimer comes in. Guys like Darrell Green, Bruce Smith, they didn't like him. They didn't really buy in. They didn't feel like he was giving them the proper due. He was trying to coach them on little details. They're like, man, we're longtime vets in this league. We know this. You guys start off 0-5, then you seem to buy in and finish 8-3. Just what are your thoughts on Marty Schottenheimer, his coaching style, and being able to finish 8-3 really strong?
Yeah, when he came in, it was funny, man. It was funny because when he came in, like you said, we had Bruce Smith, Darrell Green, Mark Carey, all those older guys on the team, and they went, it wasn't that they wasn't buying into it. They felt that by being veterans, all the tedious stuff for during the Oklahoma drill and all that stuff, they didn't feel they had to do it. But the thing about it, the young guys, we all needed that. We all needed that hard training camp, that tough love coming in, and guys getting buying into the system and everything. We actually needed that, and I felt bad when Dan Snyder actually fired Coach Marty Schottenheimer, because I felt the following year, with everything intact with Marty, we would have made it. We would have made it to the playoffs. And had a way better year than we had his first year there, because the way he was going about things towards the end of the season, and went into a whole off season with the nucleus of guys, the young guys that was there. And like I say, I think it would have worked out a whole lot better, and it probably would have wrote the future of the Redskins a lot better too. I probably would have still been a Redskin. I probably would have retired a Redskin.
Well, yeah, and just a little add on to that. Why didn't Steve Spurrier work as an NFL coach?
Because he didn't know nothing about no blitzes. I never forget, and I hate to talk about people in this way. Don't get me wrong. Steve Spurrier is a great coach for college. Great coach. Great offensive mind coach and everything. But when you go to the NFL and you really don't have a plan on how things really works there, it's not going to work for you. I never forget, we was getting ready to play New Orleans Saints. Coach Hasley was there, and he was the head coach. And I'm out there catching kickoff returns, and Coach Haslett say, "Hey, big guy," and we was talking to him before the game. He said, "Man, we're gonna blitz the shit out of you today." and the crazy thing about it, I was like, okay, all right, because I felt like we could beat them because I felt that we was the better team, but they beat us like 45 to 20 something like that. And the thing about it, they did blitz us, and with Steve Spurrier offense, he didn't have a solution for 4 weeks blitzes, and they blitzed us 4 weeks the whole game almost, and we didn't have no side adjustments or anything like that with his offense. But like I said, you got to have a plan when you're a head coach. You got to have a plan with everything you do for us being a head coach. You got to be a good organizer, a good planner, and everything. And I didn't feel that he did that.
Well, you wind up taking your career to Carolina in 2003, and you have your best year, 1,444 yards. You average 4.5 yards a carry. A tremendous season. You guys go to the Super Bowl. What was that like joining that team? You had Jake Delhomme, of course, Julius Peppers on defense, a tremendous young defense at that time. Steve Smith and Mushin Muhammad at the receivers. You had Deshaun Foster on that team. Brad Hoover is your fullback. What a wonderful team that was. And our buddy Mike Rucker as well. We can't forget him. He's been on the show before. What was that season like for you coming in there? You've been a Redskin your whole career, and you go to Carolina, and immediately you're in the Super Bowl.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. I never forget, man, when I didn't get to play the last 2 games with the Redskins. And one of the things my agent talked to me about, he said, you're going to have about 3 options to go in free agency. Because I knew the Redskins were going to release me. And they actually released me on my birthday, and I was in Jamaica. I just wanted to bring that up. But I was on vacation for my birthday. Dan Schneider, he said, "Man, I really hate we doing this for salary cap reasons. We got to let you go." I said, "Okay, it's fine." I enjoyed it. Thank you for the opportunity. So I took my visits, and one of my visits was to Carolina. Now, being from South Carolina, being from Spartanburg, where Panthers hold a training camp at, and being from South Carolina, it was a great fit. My family got to see me. People really never got to see me play when I was with the Redskins, get to come to the games, get to see me. And a lot of people get to interact with me when I was at training camp. Great opportunity, great for me and my family and my kids. And we went into that season not knowing. It was a big question mark on what type of team we were going to be. I'm washed up. I'm old. I'm too old now. I can't run the ball and all that. And you had a young defense over there, which is a perfect fit for me. Coach Fox told me, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna have a 2-headed monster, and we're gonna do everything for putting the ball in our offense hands where they can win games at the end. And that's what we did, man. We ran the ball great. Offensive line did a great job. It wasn't a lot of egos on that team. There was a lot of and it was actually a team, and you had guys that came to work every day with their lunch pail, came in and said, "We're gonna work today. We're gonna get better." You know what I mean? And they all worked out for the best. We went to the Super Bowl. We should have won that Super Bowl, but we playing the GOAT on the other side, and he made some plays late in that game, and they kicked the field goal and beat us. But like I say, that was the best opportunity for me, and it was an experience that I can't change. I would never change in my life, but it was great for me and my family.
Yeah, we just talked right there about Super Bowl 38, and here we are in the NFL playoffs currently in the divisional round. We're heading into Super Bowl 55. Just what are some key differences that you noticed in your time being on Super Bowl contending teams versus other teams that didn't get it done?
Repeat that question.
Just what are some of the key differences you noticed being on Super Bowl teams versus teams that didn't get it done?
The difference is, man, is winning the close games. It's a difference between winning and losing when you make the smallest mistakes. Smaller mistakes can happen, can make you can hurt you in all ways, and and how you handle injuries and all that. So like I say, when you have a team that's out there that's not making the mistakes, and you see a lot of these playoff teams are teams that did make the big mistakes during the season. They got themselves in a position to where when they get to the second season, that's what I call the playoffs. When they get to the second season, it amps up even more. You don't want to make those small mistakes.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Super Bowl 38 turned into. It was a different game in the second half. And what was that like, kind of watching that roller coaster? And we know so many times that Adam Vinatieri winds up sealing Patriot Super Bowl victories with a field goal. He did that in this game as well. What was that like, kind of going into the second half, where it was almost a defensive battle, and you guys come back and your offense picks up, and you're able to really outwit Bill Belichick, who it seems like kind of had a plan in the first half that was working, and then the halftime happens. I don't know if it was Miss Jackson's wardrobe malfunction or what, but you guys really picked it up in the second half, and it was a much different game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a much different game, and like all our games that whole year, we played to, in the first half. We didn't play as well in the second. We played better in the second half, and when we played in the second half, it was all lights out. You know what I mean? In that game, I never forget when we were standing on the sideline. Our running back coach came up to us. He said, "Man, we still gonna win this game, guys. We still gonna win this game." And it kind of kicked into us that we're in the Super Bowl. We got opportunity to win this game. And Jake went out amazing plays. Musima Muhammad went out amazing plays. Steve made plays. We had a lot of guys making plays in that game, and it got us to where we was a field goal away from winning the game, and it worked out. It worked out for New England, but with us, we had opportunity, and we made the mistake, and they didn't.
And Stephen, I just got to ask you about one of your former teammates on that team. He's a good friend of us here. He's been on the show several times. The current defensive line coach for the Arizona Cardinals, Brenton Buckner. Do you have any good Buckner stories?
Yeah, I got a lot of good Buckner stories. But Buck, man, we got a lot of good stories with Buck, man. Buck, I never forget when I first got there. Buck used to tell me all kinds of stories how he used to knock people out in Pittsburgh. And the thing about it, when we was in training camp, we competed. I mean, Coach Foster had some of the hardest training camps I ever been in, and we competed. And I used to always tell them, "Don't put your hands on me. If y'all don't want to run the ball, y'all don't put your hands on me." And Buck made sure nobody put hands on me doing 9-on-7 and everything. Just bud me up or whatever. But Buck's a great guy, man. I've been knowing Buck ever since I was coming out of high school, because he was at Clemson when I took my visit.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll love that connection there. Well, as you look at this, I'll tell you, just Noah and I we're Facebook friends with you now. We followed you. Clearly, Stephen, you're not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Let's just put it that way. You were glad to see the Browns take them down. Were you not in the playoffs last week?
Yeah, I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. And I swear, I got my son-in-law. He's a Browns fan, and I told him, I said, "Man, y'all are worse than Steelers and Dallas fans. The way y'all carrying on, bro.
Well,
this don't make no sense."
Well, we're here in Kansas City, so I hopefully you're at least cool with the Chiefs, because we got to get this thing done here. We got to get this team back to the Super Bowl. Is it going to happen?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm a big Chiefs fan. I'm cool.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. It's been such a pleasure to have you on. We got to give you our first and goal, which is 4 quick questions, and we'll get to the end zone and we'll get you out of here, man. If that's cool, give us whatever answer comes to mind.
All right.
Okay. First question: who you got? Who wins the Super Bowl? What 2 teams are playing in it, and who wins it?
I think Tampa and Kansas City gonna be in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
I think I think Kansas City gonna win. I think Kansas City. That's when Patrick Mahomes let the GOAT know it's my time now, and let him ride on in the sunset.
We love it. You're a smart man. You're on a show that's based in Kansas City. We've got a smart man here, Stephen Davis, picking the Chiefs to go all the way. I love it.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna pass the torch.
All right, here's the second down here. Best fullback you ever played with? Is it Tony Richardson, Fred Beasley, Larry Centers, or Donnell Bennett?
Oh man, you can't ask me that question, man.
I just did, Stephen. I'm holding your feet to the fire.
The thing about it, all of them was great.
Oh, absolutely.
All of them was great. I don't have no favorites. All of them did great things. All of them blocked for me.
Hey,
I can't give you a best.
You know what? We'll let that one slide, Stephen. Just this once, though, man. Next time we're going to need a concrete, definitive answer there. What would you, in your career at Auburn, what was your best memory, your biggest win when you were playing at Auburn the 3 years you were there?
Biggest win and the most memorable win was the 1995 Alabama and Auburn game. When we beat Alabama down in Auburn. One of the best games yeah. And all the games we beat Florida in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shut those fans up down there in the swamp. And, of course, in-state rival. It's got to be that. Last one here. We got to punch it into the end zone, Stephen. Your former teammate, fullback Brad Hoover, several years ago, said that he thinks the Patriots cheated against you guys in Super Bowl 38. We all know their history with Spygate, of course. Do you share in that suspicion?
Well, I do. I actually do. Listen to the defense talk. They say they put in 5 defenses that week of the Super Bowl. And they say they called those 5 defenses, and the Patriots had the perfect play called against those 5 defenses. Now, how? I don't know. Look,
yeah, and Brad was saying that they knew your game plan. They were calling out plays, and then you guys made some adjustments in the second half and in halftime, and you guys came out, and that's when the game got close, and you almost pulled it out there at the end.
Yes, exactly. Well, and we all felt that way.
Well, Stephen, I tell you what a great career it was. In my opinion, a very underrated NFL career. You had 3 straight seasons of 1,300 or more yard. You added another 1,400-yard season at another location. When people said, like you said, you were too old, you're an underrated career. 8,000 total yards, a top 50 running back of all time. Not a bad career, Stephen Davis, if I say so myself.
Thank you very much. I was just blessed and had the opportunity to go out there and show my God ability, talent, and I made the best of it.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the playoff games this weekend. We'll see what we wind up with next week. Take her easy, stay safe, and stay healthy, man. And best of luck to your son at North Carolina A&T going forward, man. We'll be watching.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks
Take
a lot.
care.
All right.
Great to catch up with Stephen Davis, who a tremendous running back, both at Auburn and in the NFL, man. That was really cool catching up with him. That's what we do on this podcast. That's why it's called The Elite. It's not because of us. No, I hate to break that to you.
Oh.
It's because of great guests like Stephen Davis, and that's why every week we crank him out for you guys. And 2021 is going to be no different. In fact, guys, things are just getting started for us. Go to our website, gasnsports.com, to keep up with all the updates. Just search Great American Sports Network and the Elite Sports Podcast on Facebook. You can get us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Great American Sports Network. Noah, Stephen Davis, we got the perspective of an Auburn guy a couple days after Alabama wins the title. And we talked to him a little bit, before we went live with the interview. He gives props to the SEC and says that when it comes down to it, we're all in the SEC, we're all in this together. But for Auburn, you got something to look at. You got that. This is the program they're chasing. And he played with Bo Nix's dad at Auburn. We'll see where Brian Harsin, if he's able to continue to develop him, and Auburn can maybe become that next team like a Texas A&M last year that's able to at least step up and get into the conversation.
Yeah, and he was saying right, wrong, or indifferent, your feelings on moving on from Gus Malzahn. it's done. The deal's done. Brian Harsin is your next head coach of the Auburn Tigers, and it's time to buy in and move forward and help make this as great as it can be, whatever that may be. If you're not bought in, it's doomed from day one. And so they're all buying in. Like you said, they're going to meet soon, talk. That's cool that Brian Harsin's doing that, bringing in a lot of the old guys, former players, the alum, and they're going to sit and talk about what the future looks like and what the Auburn Tigers are going to look like, the football team, this upcoming season moving into the future. So that's cool that he did that. And yeah, it's going to lie on Brian Harsin. It's going to lie on Bo Nix. It's going to lie on Bigsby at running back. A lot of these young guys and guys that are entrenched there that are going to stay with the program moving forward. This is it. They went with Brian Harsin. A lot of people were questioning that hire, but you've got to be bought in and just hope for the best moving forward, that this is a hire that nobody saw coming, but ends up paying huge dividends for the Auburn Tigers.
Well, in our final segment, we're going to be talking about the NFL Divisional Playoff Round. Super Wild Card Weekend, I don't know, hit and miss for me. Didn't feel like the seventh team was necessary, but hey, we got to watch the Chicago Bears play while the New Orleans Saints did not get a bye. Was that fair? Was that cool? I don't really think so. But the games happened. We got triple headers. Seemed a little watered down to me, especially by that night game on Sunday. I'm like, man, there's been a lot of games. Hey, far be it from me to turn away a National Football League playoff game, but maybe a little watered down. Noah, Chiefs hosting the Cleveland Browns. They took down the Steelers. A game a lot of people didn't think would happen. Their coach was not in attendance due to COVID. Now the Browns come in to Kansas City with house money, man. They're playing with house money. Kareem Hunt's running angry. This is personal for him. How does this play out on Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium, man?
Yeah, the Browns are flying high. I mean, Kareem Hunt saying it's personal. He's going to be ready to go. They're going to get healthier. They're getting Denzel Ward, Kevin Johnson, 2 corners back off the COVID list. Obviously, their head coach, Kevin Stefanski's coming back. And, man, they just obliterated the Steelers there for a while. Then they started saying, hey, we got this in the bank. I mean, they can't do anything. They turned the ball over 5 times. Steelers made a late push, a 4th-and-1 punt, very questionable, where they could have cut the lead 35-30, but instead it's 35-23 and they punt. Questionable call there. Ben Roethlisberger just doesn't have it anymore. But moving into this game against the Chiefs and Browns, I mean, the Browns have that 2-headed monster in the backfield with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs are have to be all focused in on that. They've got a good receiver in Jarvis Landry. I just don't trust Baker Mayfield and this Browns team coming in here. Even that defense with Myles Garrett and the corners coming back healthy. I just don't trust them quite enough in that secondary, in the linebacking core to really get it done. They've got a good front four. I just don't trust Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, and that defense of the Browns to get it done. But they will pose some problems early on for a little bit with the running game. But the Chiefs are going to get at least 2, maybe 3 scores ahead, and they're going to have to abandon the running game. And I don't trust Baker putting the game on his shoulders.
It just feels like it has been months since the Chiefs have played football, and really it's been since that Week 16 game against Atlanta where we saw the starters, we saw this team at full strength, and now a couple weeks off. I think this is going to do this team well, and you get to sit back and you watch other teams play and other teams win games, so then those teams become the talk. Everybody wants to see the Browns keep going, right? They won their first playoff game since 1995. Look at this. They're hot. Baker Mayfield. Look at this. Look how well the running game is going for the Browns. See, traditionally in the NFL, though, Noah, that's where those kind of situations, they come to a screeching halt when they play a team that's been there and done that. And the Chiefs, you want to talk about for the Browns, this is personal for Kareem Hunt. Well, for the Chiefs, it's business. And my friend, killing is their business, and business is good. This is a 15-1 team that would have been 15-1 had they played their starters in Week 17. This team doesn't lose. It's seasoned in the playoffs. We saw what happened last year, erasing 3 2-score deficits en route to a Super Bowl title. I think they're hungry now come playoff time. We heard Travis Kelce's comments last week saying, hey, we basically wanted to fast forward this season to the playoffs. We just showed up, did what we had to do to win, and that team won 14 games. It went 14-1, Noah. We might be talking about in a few weeks this being one of the best teams in recent NFL memory, more so than we could be talking about them being some sort of failure. I think this Chiefs team is primed to take down the Browns by double digits and go forward against either the Bills or Ravens, and I feel confident against either one of those teams. Man, I think this is going to be party time at Arrowhead on Sunday.
No, I agree with you. We also heard Travis Kelce just a few days ago talk about how these teams that they're going to have to play at Arrowhead, whoever it may be, obviously the Browns, and then whether it's the Ravens or Bills moving forward, they're just in their way. They're in their way of their ultimate goal of getting to an AFC Championship game, winning that, and getting to the Super Bowl. And they seem focused now. How they didn't seem focused, they were unfocused, unmotivated in the regular season. You're going to see the complete reverse of that. And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting healthy, and hopefully we can have Sammy Watkins back, I mean, this team's going to be at full strength, and we are just going to mow through the competition. I hate to sound super confident, braggadocious, coming out here saying that, because I'm normally not like that. All my time being a Chiefs fan from the early 90s to now, I would never say that. Even as a shill Chiefs fan as a little kid, I was cowering in the corner from John Elway, from whoever may be in our path, Jim Kelly, the Oilers coming, the Steelers, whoever it may be, whoever we face. I'm cowering in a corner. I'm crying. I'm weeping. I'm begging for someone to come save us. In 2017, that happened. The Chiefs moved up from 27-10, drafted Patrick Mahomes. He has come and saved us. So I'm done being scared. Everyone that's going to face the Chiefs, now you are scared of us because we have the top flight offense. We have Patrick Mahomes in our back pocket, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, who's also healthy. He was out there at practice. So, man, we are going to be ready to roll. We are running it back, and we are going to win Super Bowl 55. I don't care about Aaron Rodgers. They don't have a good defense. They've only got one weapon at wide receiver. I mean, you've talked about the Bucs. We already dispatched of them. You talked about the Saints. We already dispatched of them. The Rams, I mean, Jared Goff, they're not going to be able to get through. This is the Packers, the Saints, or the Bucs, and the AFC is just a foregone conclusion. I mean, the Bills, we dispatched to them. The Ravens, we dispatched to them. We're about to dispatch to the Browns. Super Bowl 55 champions, your Kansas City Chiefs.
I have no further analysis, Your Honor. That was powerful. That's going to get me through the week. Noah, it's been a true pleasure having everybody join us and listening to the Elite Sports Podcast. Please continue to do so. Share it. Get it to your friends. Let them know that this show is out there. And again, the website, gasnsports.com, where all of our articles, interviews, everything is archived there. We all usually, 90% of the time, have a Zoom interview with our guest that you can get on our YouTube channel. We didn't with Stephen Davis here because we had technical difficulties and the Zoom was not working out. So we had to switch to a quick phone call, which is what you heard here. Normally, you can go to our YouTube channel, Great American Sports Network, and you can get our YouTube interviews on Zoom there. It's pretty cool if you subscribe. So please hit us up there. Thank you so much for being a part of us. We can't wait for 2021 to be a much better year. I'm already, you know what? I'm already over it. I'm looking at better times ahead. We're in the heart of the winter, but you know what? The spring and summer months aren't far away, and the Super Bowl is on the horizon. Like I said, it's victory week here on Elite Sports Podcast, and I think that Chiefs fans, you're going to be enjoying one for the next few weeks. Enjoy, and join us next week here on The Elite.